All right, we're alive.
Good substantial. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Big Nancy's pulling you away.
I was gonna ask him a really good one.
No,
Yeah. Yeah. Curtis, just a quick question. Hello.
Yeah.
I wanted to see what your thoughts are on the recent RICO suit that the ex-NYPD commissioner filed and the damning statements he made about Eric Adams and how he runs the NYPD in the city.
Oh, he's so correct. And he has first-hand knowledge because he was temporarily the PC.
He was.
With a background in policing, the FBI, stellar credentials. And he said it was like dealing with a organized crime family.
That's right.
Which
That's
I
right.
have had many battles with over the years.
That's right. That's right.
So his lawsuit should be judged on the merits. When you look at Eddie Caban and the disgrace of what he did as police commissioner, selling badges.
Yeah.
Then you have, oh my God, Jeffrey Madry, who turned the 13th floor into Caligula.
Yeah.
Kaz Daughtry, who they hid as the deputy mayor of public safety, a created position that is not needed. And you go right on down the line. His case has a lot of merit. It's long, it's detailed. You know, people just read headlines, but I had a chance to read most of it, and he was spot on.
And part of the thing he said was the defunding of the OIG as well.
Yes, yeah, and I would say he would be an excellent individual if he were interested to be in charge of the Department of Investigation that would oversee all agencies, because as mayor, I know he'd be looking over my shoulder too, because remember, he's already bit the hand that fed him once, and DOE, historically, the appointee is the mayor's friend of fundraiser, although in this case, this DOE chairwoman, very good. She's helped in the investigations against the Adams administration, but that's an exception to the rule. He would be excellent because he has been fair and unbiased in his interpretation.
Thank you. Appreciate it. That was a very, for what it's worth, that was a very good response because he's right. It's 230 pages. The only ex-police commissioner to ever dare launch a RICO against the same police department that hired him. You will never see that from Chief Moore of the LAPD. You will never see that from the Villanueva, who was LASD sheriff. You will never see that from Sheriff Shitley Baca, who was convicted felon for obstruction of justice and various other counts during his tyranny as LASD sheriff. It is exceptionally rare. And so for an ex-police chief to go and actually file that suit says a lot. It speaks volumes.
Well, I'm glad you knew about it too.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't know if all the mayoral candidates would know about this situation.
No, and especially about the defunding of the OIG, that's a big one because it's exactly what happened with the FBI cutting $500 million where Patel will not accept the money, and he testified as such on the Senate Judiciary Committee that he won't accept extra money for his department and that he's deliberately cutting FBI agents, especially ones that are investigating Trump, investigating everything else about the current administration. So I don't know, man. I doubt you'll find any other candidate that will be as open and willing to talk and actually support and say that, yes, that's how it runs, and actually have the history for, you know, he's not perfect, but to actually,
challenge the mob, challenge a lot of government.
yeah, to actually confront, who else can you honestly say that has done basically like YouTuber type shit and is running for an NYC mayor?
Right. Yeah.
He's like the same guy.
He was the original kind of YouTube activist in a lot of ways before there's YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's exactly like what happened with Mejia. Mejia came out of nowhere in LA, out of nowhere as a controller,
Sure.
and did a legendary job. So we could be seeing like the New York City Mejia right here.
You never know. You never know. But hey, that's why we're here too. You know, we'll have an interesting press conference, and We got the mainstream media here, but you know what they're going to ask, and we're going to get his comments, and he's going to talk about Eric Adams dropping out. But this is why it's important to, if you guys want to subscribe to me, is we're asking some other questions. We're asking, I asked about Israel. Is that a distraction? Do you think that's a distraction, this mayoral race? And he gave a good answer. You asked about corruption, the lawsuit going on. Yeah, so I feel like we add some unique things, and I'll even read the comments to see if anybody wants me to ask them a question.
Yeah, let's see what they got. We got people on my end watching. Amy says hello.
Cool. Tell Amy I say hi back.
Yeah, Amy's in the chat. What up, Amy? But yeah, by the way, if you guys don't know, he's literally holding it right at the station.
Yeah, so talk about accessibility outside. This is where it is. And I will say Curtis is by far the most accessible candidate. As a YouTuber, he's the only candidate that has let me on his press list. So I have respect for that. And it's easy to find him. A lot of people hold press conferences in exclusive areas where you have to go through security and get approval to go in. And Curtis is the only person literally on the street having an accessible event where anybody walking by could check.
Tell him what happened to you at Zoran Mamdani after the normal speech that he gave.
Yeah, they kicked me out. And I was like, I was asking nice questions. Nothing negative at all. But yeah, super quick, kicked me out. Oh, you're not official registered press. And that's what I want to do in the future. It's so hard for people who have YouTubes to access stuff. And it was like, there was a newspaper from Belgium that was there. So why is it like she's got fans? Oh, or maybe she has some issue, hard to tell. Other she might have been a fan of Curtis.
So did they say you don't have a pass, so you got a GTFO?
Yeah, exactly. So it's funny. It's like, a German newspaper, Belgium, could get a pass, but like as somebody who's on the ground for a lot of this stuff, impossible because you're not connected to a multi-million-dollar organization.
Yeah, and he's literally talking to people, just chilling.
That's it. He'll answer any question that anybody asks. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're formal press or you're a citizen off the street. And this is what real campaigning is.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a lot more on the ground.
Well, Mejia did similar tactics just to this. He just showed up.
Yeah, he came out.
Mejia just literally would show up. So he did the one thing nobody else did too. He went to neighborhood council meetings. Nobody in LA ever goes to neighborhood council meetings. Literally nobody, ever. He did. And he still showed up at the neighborhood council Congress as well. So it's not like he just did it once and then never again. No. He sent his staff to attend neighborhood council meetings if they ever had questions about what the budget changes meant for them as neighborhood councils. Nobody else from city council ever sent staff to explain the budget changes. Never, not once. Not once. So I mean, for what it's worth, he's just look at this boy. You could just go and talk to him.
Yeah. Really easy. So yeah, and that's stuff you see if that accessibility is not allowed, how much worse it gets and how much more clouded it gets. So I think we'll probably begin in a couple moments, it looks like. And of course, the topic du jour is Eric Adams dropping out.
Amy says, are we going to the New Jersey rally? NJ rally.
Which outlet are you guys?
I just have an independent YouTube.
Yeah, where's the independent media?
I think I've seen YouTube.
Yeah, because I was at a few of his other events.
Okay, do you know what I mean?
Oh, you're good.
Have you done a few videos of going to on viral or something?
That's a good question.
Actually, yes.
It's some other
Don't
topics.
be shy. No, he's been on super viral videos. He's covered a bunch of the Scientology cases.
Yeah, I got fired. I used to be a local TV news anchor. I got fired for talking about Scientology, and it had to do with the Danny Masterson case.
Yes.
And so that got like 40,000 views.
I just feel like I've seen you on some YouTube or Instagram
Interesting.
videos.
Yeah, so that might have been it.
Dodge.
Dodge. Yeah, that kind of caught fire for a while.
Yeah.
And I just spoke out against the Scientology religion, but got a big following for it. Dodge, like the car, Dodge Landisman. It's a strange name. If you search Dodge Scientology, you'll be able to find it. And then got a good base, and now out here. So
Yeah,
cool.
don't be shy. See,
I'm honored. Sweet.
this is a local upcoming New York City celebrity. No joke.
I appreciate it.
Look at that.
I wouldn't say I'm close to that, but that's very kind. Maybe someday. But hey, some of this stuff I guess got more views than I thought it would. So it's nice to see that progress. It's nice to see some people might notice it.
I mean, he got his campaign people to notice you.
That's
Yeah.
very cool.
Well, give him a shout out for putting you on their press list.
Yeah, and thank you. You guys added me to your press list, so thank you for being the only campaign that's done so. So you guys earned my vote. Well, you earned my vote before that anyway, but
There you go. There you go.
certainly locked it down.
There you go.
Because accessibility matters, you know, and, for people who just want to do journalism work, they don't get the opportunity. Thank you guys for giving it. I'll probably be doing soon. Of course, we got some substance. We got Curtis to talk about corruption, the lawsuit that's happening. We got into
I doubt Mamdani would ever answer a question about the Silver RICO.
no.
I doubt.
Or first know about it, even though
Or-
it's happening, quite frankly. But
Right, right. Or even know about it.
yeah,
And he was able to speak to each of the different appointees. I was curious to see if he knew each of the different appointees, and he's
Yeah,
able to
yeah, it was
name them.
entertaining, yeah.
So he knew.
respect. No. You say Sliwa earn your vote, Dodge. Yes, Jen. Yes, I did say that. I'm a big fan of his. You know, and I'm a weird. I was a weird.
He's gonna say.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you wanted to say hello. I thought he was gonna
okay.
give you his card.
Oh, what?
Yeah, he was looking at you. He waved at you, and then he just turned away.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
I need to get cards too, by the way. Note to self.
Or you can do that thing where you just pull up your if you have another phone, pull up a
Yeah.
QR code,
Oh, that's smart. Yeah.
and then have it linked to your link tree, and then that way they can do that.
Cool.
We should ask him about Scientology.
Already began my day early, riding the subway. Came up here, which is our neighborhood, where both Nancy and I share residence. And I think it's very important on a day like today, in the aftermath of the 1 o'clock announcement yesterday, while I was in the middle of the 3rd Avenue Festival in Bay Ridge, that we addressed the decision by Eric Adams to drop out of the race. That makes him now the second person who is a dropout person. Andrew Cuomo, who dropped out from being governor, fled Albany because he feared impeachment. And now Eric Adams, who dropped out of the race. And as I had told you all almost 2 weeks ago, because he was involved in the TV games that we all grew up with if your baby boomers. The Price is Right. He's waiting for that price to be right. And I guess Bob Barker gave him that call from heaven. And they finally met his price. And so Monty Hall's store number 1, 2, 3 was there. And Eric Adams decided to drop out. I will not sit shiver for him. And to see all these accolades for a man who is responsible for the destruction of careers of valiant men and women in the Department of Justice, the Integrity Unit, who don't make a lot of money, who are there to protect us from thieves and crooks in politics. And that's exactly what Eric Adams was and still is. And I know that because he did a lot of this straw donors during the campaign against me in 2021. I would expect a modicum of respect that he give to those prosecutors who gave up their careers because they were men and women of integrity. That's number 1. So he's one and done. Now, 1 down, 2 to go. And we got Zoran Mandani, and we have Eric Adams. No, make that Andrew. And we have Zoran Mandani, we have Andrew Cuomo, 36 days to go. Very lucky, 36, if you believe in the tradition, the Jewish tradition of 18 high, times it by 2, 36 high. It's a very good day for me because not only am I running 20 hours a day, more than the other candidates, but I'm out in the streets and I'm out in the subways where the voters are. And there still are voters who have not yet come to a conclusion in terms of who they would like to see be the next mayor of the city of New York. That'll be determined by the people's vote November 4th. I already have heard now the billionaires squawk, oh, did they give me vertigo? First, they were running to Andrew Cuomo. Then after June 24th, Cuomo gets knocked off his throne because he didn't run a campaign and Zoran is swept to victory by 13 percentage points. And all these same billionaires went running over to Eric Adams. And on the second day, the real estate board gave him $1.5 million to run a campaign. I'd like to know where that money went, and the $4 million he's still sitting on. But that's for you to determine. And now, with Eric Adams dropping out of the race, they've decided to jump back to Andrew Cuomo. I don't want the billionaires involved in this race, but clearly they won't butt out. They may know Wall Street, but it's clear they don't know anything about the streets of the city of New York, all 5 boroughs, 350 neighborhoods, 472 subway platforms, where the working class people, the poor and the indigent are. They're oblivious to that. And those are the people that I represent. So now we can get back to the real campaign and what is defined by what I call the Hydra. The Hydra of Zoran Mandami and Andrew Cuomo. Think of it. You have Andrew Cuomo, no cash bail Andrew Cuomo, who doubled down on it in the primary. Both he and Zoran Mandami believe in no cash bail. Zoran Mandami and Andrew Cuomo believe in raise the age. We just had a report that indicated there are more juvenile gangs now than there have been since I formed the Guardian Angels in the 1970s. All as a result of raise the age. Cuomo did that. Zoran agrees with that. They both want to close Rikers Island. I am opposed to closing Rikers Island. I want to lower the age, and I want to eliminate cash bail. Obviously, I understand there's a lot more than just what a mayor can do, but I'm clearly in opposition on all those levels. I want to put back into effect the homeless outreach unit of the NYPD that did an amazing job. It was eliminated when de Blasio took $1 billion out of the budget and was gleeful about it. We need to get law and order and policing back on track. Where I came from in the subways, it used to be that you would have uniformed police officers patrolling the moving subway cars. That will once again be the norm when I am the mayor on January 1st of 2026. And quality of life issues must be addressed. You have these e-bikes and these motor scooters going up and down and terrorizing people of all different races, ethnic backgrounds, neighborhoods, and nothing is being done to curb them. There will have to be immediate enforcement, and it's by the NYPD and the other city agents. So if you go issue after issue after issue, Zoran Mandami and Andrew Cuomo share so many of the same belief systems. They also want migrants to be able to vote. I don't. They also believe in sanctuary city. I don't, although I would put it up for charter revision. I would have the people vote on it, initiative and referendum. I am the Republican candidate. There are no other Republicans. I also have the first ever independent line that my wife Nancy put together and qualified to be on the ballot, which is protect animals, no kill shelters, and putting animal abusers in jail. None of these other candidates have addressed animal issues except lately. Wow, they saw the light. Nancy and I had joined other New Yorkers against the horse carriage barbaric industry going back to the campaign in 2021. Eric Adams followed suit, so did Zoran Mandami and Andrew Cuomo. So clearly on a lot of issues, Curtis Sliwa leads and the others follow. So let's get back to the issues. Let's focus on local issues, not geopolitical issues of Gaza and Israel and Hamas and issues that the mayor has no relevance whatsoever. And let the people decide, not the professional political class, certainly not the billionaires who give us vertigo. Know about Wall Street, but they don't know about the street. And I look forward to the debates on the 16th, and then 6 days later, I wish it could be 1977 all over again when the better Cuomo was running for mayor against 4 candidates. There were 4. And they had 12 debates with Gabe Pressman, the dean of newsmen, in many instances being the moderator. That's not going to happen, I understand. But let's get out there. Let's go to the streets. Let's actually approach the voters. And let's see if we can get Andrew Cuomo to actually go out into a crowd. I don't know if he's allergic to people. He seems to have a phobia. But let's all get out into the streets, the subways, the buses, and let the people decide. This is what democracy is about. One man, one woman, one vote. And that's who I have faith in, the people, not the billionaires and the professional political class.
Curtis, can you explain to us, just like give us the timeline of when this offer was made to you to drop out of the race? Who made it, and why haven't you been able to tell us? Why won't you?
Well, number one, it was all on behalf of Andrew Cuomo and me dropping out, as they had said that Eric Adams would drop out. Remember, I did say 2 weeks ago that Eric Adams was
when was it
drop out. Right at the end of June, it started.
And who made it?
Well, I'm not at liberty to say.
Why aren't you at liberty to
I
say?
had private conversations with people I've known growing up. They were representing the interests of Andrew Cuomo. And my wife listened to the last one and said to me as a lawyer, you realize you could be complicit by just listening to these conversations. You need to warn them all that from now on, if they try to bribe you, if they try to use influence, or
And you can't tell us who's a childhood friend of yours, or what? I just don't understand what
look, Herschel Barrero, you all know Herschel Barrero, correct?
Yeah, I know him.
Is he a Republican?
Childhood.
He is a Cuomo supporter on New York One and has been a lifelong friend of the Cuomo family. His daughter works in the Cuomo campaign. His wife was Secretary of State in the Andrew Cuomo administration for 1 year. He went on record with Errol Lewis as saying, I know who these people are. I know these calls were made to Curtis. I know who he refused. Out of respect to people I grew up with who have families and businesses, and they were doing it on behalf of Andrew. Let it be done. Let's move forward in the campaign.
What do you?
What do you say? There's a parents advocate, Liz had in her article quoted saying, "Forget about the money to get you out of the race. Appealing to your skill at protecting New York City since the 1970s, her argument is the best way to protect this city is to give New Yorkers a chance to not elect Mamdani." What do you say to that appeal? The folks who say it is protecting the city if you step aside.
Didn't they say that right after June 24th? Who do they want me to step aside for? Eric Adams. How foolish would I have looked right now as he would have exited, right? All the people who sent me money. I've raised more money than Eric Adams and Andrew Cuomo combined. I will have maxed out. I'm running TV commercials. You go into the outer boroughs, you see my posters everywhere. I have 7 headquarters opened up. Can you imagine if I had succumbed to all those concerns of all those people who said, well, Cuomo has failed us. Now let's bounce back to Eric Adams. You must drop out for Eric Adams. How foolish this political process has become. I would say to all of these people respectfully, they obviously don't trust people. Men have died in battle for the right to vote, and not so that billionaires or landed gentry or the professional political class will pick the next man. I trust people. It's clear that a lot of the well-to-do New Yorkers don't. Because what have they said? Out of fear, fright, hysteria, they're going to flee. Guess what? I'm a street warrior. When you show fright in the streets, that just empowers Zoran Mandami and his supporters. Because now they know we got you. We got you. No. Even if I should happen to lose, I'm not going anywhere. I will become Zoran Mandami's worst nightmare. One thing we know for sure, Andrew Cuomo has said, if I lose, I'm fleeing to Florida. What kind of a leader is that who's already waving the white flag? I don't surrender. I don't retreat. I have principles. I disagree with Zoran Mandami and Andrew Cuomo, and I believe the voters should be given an opportunity to differentiate.
What do you think about the RICO case against the city?
Curtis, how does Adams' absence affect your chances of winning?
Eric Adams is so non-significant. He's a person of no consequence. He's got no followers. He's got no supporters. He has turned his back. I opened up a headquarters in Brownsville, only Republican ever to do that on Osborne of Hegeman, where I actually used to live from 74 and 76. That was his headquarters. They gave me the keys. They said this guy has forsaken us. So he has alienated so many that he bamboozled, he lied to. This was all a soap opera and a novella to get more money. And I must tell you, from the top down, my president, the leader of my party, has said that the best day for the GOP will be if Zoran Mandami wins. Right? You've all heard the president say that. I respectfully disagree with the president. We cannot sacrifice an inch, a block, a borough. We cannot sacrifice this great city because it might be good for my party in the midterm elections. Absolutely not. So I am here to fight. I carry the Republican banner, and I am not surrendering or retreating. I think it would be a horrible day for all Americans and Republicans if, in fact, Zoran Mandami became the mayor, and I'm intent in 36 days to try to prove that. By the way, I would suggest to Andrew Cuomo, who needs to come off his high horse, why doesn't he go into the neighborhoods that I'm campaigning in each day? Start in Astoria, where Zoran kicked his butt, and Long Island City, and Sunset Park, and Park Slope, and Brooklyn Heights, and Ridgewood, and I go right on down the line. You can't win, Andrew, if you won't go for Democratic votes. And those Democratic votes were not for him in those neighborhoods, and he's afraid to walk in the streets. You will not be a mayor if you don't go into the streets and deal with the people, especially Democrats who are your adversaries.
Curtis, can you tell me what the past 24 hours have been like for you and the reaction you are getting from people, whether they're telling you to stay in or whether they're telling you you should consider dropping out? Billionaires excluded. I don't want to hear about the billionaire stuff.
Understood.
What are the reaction for you've been getting for staying in or getting out?
Well, I was on one of the biggest festivals yesterday for 5 hours, 3rd Avenue. Bay Ridge, as you know, Bay Ridge used to be Republican. No more. You might even call it 50-50, but the Democrats have done very well there. Justin Brannan, Working Families Party, the city council person, he has somebody running for that office to replace him. He's term limited out. Zoran Mandami did extraordinarily well there. He beat Andrew Cuomo there. And I beat Eric Adams there. So now it's a test. You know, I had almost 3 people out of hundreds who came up to me and said, you really ought to consider dropping out. And I said, I'm not dropping out. I am there's only 2 mainstream candidates. Zoran Mandami, who won the Democratic primary fair and square, and Curtis Sliwa, the Republican candidate. I suggest you try to find Andrew Cuomo on the scared ballot. You got to go through a maze to find him. He's an independent candidate. The chances of an independent candidate beating a mainstream candidate, it's not impossible. But with his baggage and his inability to get out into the... He should have been there yesterday. He wasn't there. He wasn't at the San Gennaro Festival. These are communities that might have actually leaned in his direction. And instead, if you're there, you're going to get those people. So people are saying to me, don't drop out. Don't be bored out. And by the way, to the president who made fun of Nancy, my wife and I, because my wife has dedicated her life, like so many other women and men, to rescuing cats and dogs and animals in distress. He actually, without realizing it, did us the best favor of all, because now people realize, most of whom are Democrats, you don't have to vote for me as a Republican. You can vote for me on the independent Protect Animals line, first ever in electoral politics. So you want to make fun of me? You want to say I'm not ready for prime time? Come on into the subways and the streets. That's not what the people are telling me. Even those who are respectful are saying, everybody loves Curtis. It's almost like everybody loves Raymond, the show. Curtis, I love you for everything you've done, but I'm voting for somebody else. I said, who is it? Zoran. Oh, okay, that's what a vote is about. I try to convince you. Cuomo. Okay, that's what democracy is about. You know, I never heard anybody come up to me and say they were voting for Eric Adams. That tells you a lot.
Who do you think would make a worse mayor, Cuomo or Mamdani?
Well, I think it's one of the same, to be honest with you. Everything that Andrew Cuomo did as governor, and let's point out one issue.
If you were to choose one,
No, to me,
gun to your head,
no,
what would you
it's
say?
the double-headed hydra. And let me use one example. The Zoran's not going to say anything about this. Cuomo rails, oh, Zoran is in favor of prostitution in the streets. That's true. Who signed the law to get rid of all the loitering laws that Ramos had written, a Democratic Socialist of America, from Corona and Elmhurst? That was Andrew Cuomo. On that debate stage, oh boy, am I going to clarify that? I'm going to ask, hey, Zoran, you for open prostitution? How come it's not in Astoria, the People's Republic of New York City? And by the way, Andrew Cuomo, stop lying. You signed the legislation that allows the open sale of human flesh for the purpose of prostitution. You, Andrew, and you, Zoran, you're a sanctimonious hypocrite because you don't welcome it in Astoria Park or any of the blocks around that area. That's what I'm going to bring out in the debate.
Curtis, what's the mayor's legacy going to be? Any achievements that you think deserve credit from Mayor Adams?
What achievements do I think I can attribute to Eric Adams? Man, he was the best nightlife mayor we ever had, better than Jimmy Walker. That guy would not leave a club until the break of dawn. That guy threw away his mayoralty from day one when he dubbed himself the swagger man. And I called him the swagger man with no plan. The only way council people will tell you, if I wanted him to come into my district, I had to invite him to a blue ribbon cutting of a brand new nightclub. Then he came in, he wanted everything on the house for him and his entourage, and he wouldn't leave until 4 o'clock in the morning. So he was the greatest nightlife mayor we've ever had, better than that crook Jimmy Walker, who had to get on an ocean liner and flee because he was going to get prosecuted for corruption.
Curtis, a really quick clarification. You've been saying that the billionaires who offered you money to get out of the trade, you called it bribes. Katsimatidis told my colleague Melissa Russo this weekend, those are not bribes. This is a communication that the real estate industry is terrified of a Mamdani mayor. They're allowed to say, Curtis, we can help you, we can take care of you. Those are not bribes. What is your response to John's analysis?
I need the real estate industry to take care of me. Am I not an adult? Do I not have a wife? Do we not pay our rent like other New Yorkers? I don't need the real estate industry. They're already making deals with Mandami. In fact, they're so scared. They have a term in the real estate industry called Mandami sales. They're selling now. They're selling now. So I understand John, who I've known a long time. But no, that's a bribe. That's a bribe. When you offer somebody money, resource, jobs to drop out in order to whittle the field down, that's, in my definition, a bribe.
But Mr. Sliwa, if Mr. Cuomo is calling you a liar and you know who did it, why can you tell us and give us names to set the record straight?
Again, I'm not calling him a liar because a congressional committee charged him with perjury for his testimony about the deaths of the elderly, 15,000 under his command. He's the only one being accused of perjury. Number two, I go to Herson Barrero again, friend of Cuomo, well-respected journalist, former editor of El Diario, regular contributor to New York One with Errol Lewis, who said he knows the people who called. Curtis is telling the truth. He knows that they were offering me money to drop out. Out of respect to these men. And Cuomo used people that I grew up with. So he pulled the tug. They have families, they have businesses, and they may be under the impression of John Katsimatidis that that's not a bribe, that might be actually helping me. Well, guess what? Ever since I said I'd be wired up like a Christmas tree and that all my phone conversations, if it involved that conversation, would be taped, all of a sudden, they've taken the code of omerta.
But Mr. Barrero has not said openly that those bribes were connected directly to Mr. Cuomo. He might have said that he knew the people who did it, but he has not connected openly to the press that they were directly to Mr. Cuomo. So the reason I'm asking is why not come straight to us and tell us, give us the names.
I certainly will. Next time it happens and I record it, I go right to Alvin Bragg.
Was Carone one of the ones that called you?
Oh, by the way, slowly I turn, step by step. The bagman himself, Frank Carone.
Oh, wait, did he call you or not?
No, no.
Let him answer.
No, no. Let me answer the question. I warned when I left my last interview in 2021, you're gonna ask me. I said, beware of Frank Carone. He will hide behind the fact that he is a lawyer, client-lawyer privilege. Did you ever play the video game Mario Brothers? So he runs to Mar-a-Lago. He deals with Trump. He deals with Eric Adams. He now deals with Cuomo. That guy goes wherever the money is. But Frank Carone was not one who contacted me. I did grow up with Frank Carone in Canarsie. I know all about Frank Carone. If you had to figure out what movie he would have started, think of Goodfellas. Does that quantify it for you? And I know where everybody's bones is buried, and who buried them in Canarsie at the Thomas Jefferson Democratic Club, the most corrupt in the city that created people like Frank Carone. So ask Frank Carone, how come you're running between Trump, Adams, and now you're raising money for Cuomo in a pack? If anybody should be investigated, and he was by Eastern District, remember, but that went away. It should be Frank Carone. Again, he had nothing to do with any of the calls that came to me.
Curtis, yesterday.
I think a lot of people disagree.
After Adams dropped out, Congressman Nanitaka said that your approach. I commend the mayor for putting the city first. It's important we try to consolidate support against Mandami, stop his destructive and radical socialist takeover that will make our cities less safe, less affordable, and less livable. Have you spoken to the congresswoman who was the candidate, obviously 8 years before you were? What she wants to do in terms of consolidating against Mandami. Have you spoken to her?
Nicole Maliatakis has supported me in this campaign. I respectfully disagree with you. Eric Adams never put New York City first. Eric Adams put Eric Adams first, and his cronies, all of them should be locked up. Do I need to go through the list? You know, starting with Winnie Potato Chips Bag Greco, starting with Ingrid Lewis Martin.
Do you disagree with the congresswoman that support against Mandami needs to be consolidated?
Of course, and that's why I'm running against Zohar Mandami, to beat him. But see, I'm in the streets, I'm in the subways. You can't beat him from the Hamptons. Andrew Cuomo is a failed candidate in the Democratic primary. Excuse me?
You're saying the congresswoman?
No, not Congresswoman Maliatakis. Andy Cuomo. There's only 3 candidates now, right? We're either talking Curtis Zorhan or the Hamptons candidate of the billionaires, Andy Cuomo. And I'm not the candidate of the billionaires, and I don't spend my time in the Hamptons. So if we want to beat Zohar Mandami, you got to do it in the subways, in the streets, and you got to go into his neighborhood. Ask Andrew Cuomo the next time you have an indoor conference with him. When's the last time he was in a neighborhood in which Zohar Mandami beat him in the Democratic primary? The analytics are out there. He's the numbers guy. Why is he afraid to go into what I call the Zoranista land? I'm not. I'm opposed to everything that Zohar Mandami stands for, but I'm not afraid to bring the argument to millennials and Gen Zers and others in those neighborhoods. So basically, he's sacrificing 2/3 of the Democratic vote and thinks he's going to win with a few Republicans and independents and a few of the people who are loyal to him. The numbers don't add up. It ain't going to happen unless you take the arguments to the neighborhoods where Zohar Mandami kicked his butt, and he's afraid to do so.
Curtis, what do you think about the civil RICO that the ex-NYPD commissioner filed and the stance that he took against Mayor Adams and how he runs the city like a mafia?
The police commissioner briefly was there, former member of the FBI, former investigative director. He's a man of honor. And if you read the lawsuit, it's voluminous. And he's spot on. From the Caban to maybe the worst of all, the Madry, who turned his department into Caligula. He hit on every item. And we'll see where that goes. But I would say upon reading twice, the case has a lot of merit. Imagine the police commissioner who served you, saved you when Eddie Caban stepped out temporarily until Jessica Tisch assumed the role and stabilized One Police Plaza, is accusing you of running the police department like a family of organized crime. Who knows more about organized crime than me, having battled them my whole life, having been shot by them? He couldn't have been more correct. That's what Eric Adams' legacy is. He almost destroyed the greatest police department that we have in the world by putting his cronies in. Phil Banks, unindicted co-conspirator. Timothy Pearson, who couldn't even have a meeting with women. He's such a bird. And who said, hey, where are my crumbs? He put in charge of all the no-bid contracts. Is that ripe with the corruption of his cronies? And he did that to this valued institution at One Police Plaza, the police department. So the former police commissioner is spot on. Very good? Any other questions?
As a proud Jew of New York City, what would you say to other Jews who are considering voting for Mamdani with his obvious public hatred towards the Jewish people?
Well, I would say to the Jewish community that rightfully is alarmed, you better sit down on the Day of Atonement coming up, have a conversation with your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. Because every time I point out to them, hey, close to 40% of your people voted for Zohar Mamdani. Right away they say, oh, we don't believe those polls. Oh, you don't believe those polls. But you believe the polls that I don't have a chance. When you selectively don't realize that clearly these influencers need to be influencing children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. I've seen some of the followers in some of the neighborhoods that Zohan is strong in. And they're Jewish. You may not want to accept that, but you're born of a Jewish mother, you're Jewish. So again, the Day of Atonement is a perfect opportunity to sit down with family, they're all together, and have a heart-to-heart conversation, because the first time around, you didn't do a very good job influencing your own people. Maybe you'll get a second opportunity.
Why do you think that socialism and socialist adjacent policies are gaining more
Could you just repeat that?
Why do you think that socialism and socialistic policies are gaining more traction in New York and America in general?
First off, because I'm a street guy, if we took 1,000 people and lined them up, just random people, and I said, do you know what socialism is? No. You know what communism is? No. Obviously, if you're a baby boomer, you grew up in the Cold War, you had a working knowledge of that. But I don't think the new generation that's at all deterred by socialism. I don't think that's the argument to use against Zohan Mamdani. I think it's issue-based. He is a proud member of the DSA. He doesn't run from that. And the Democrats have absorbed the socialists into their party, starting with Bernie Sanders, and obviously AOC. So I would say that's not a resonating issue with a lot of New Yorkers. Talk about crime, public safety, the way he would treat police, quality of life, things that, let's face it, he has answered questions about cost of living and the rent is too high to pay, and he's mastered that. But every time you ask him about public safety, it's a word salad. It's a mumbo-jumbo approach, and that's why I look forward to taking him and Cuomo on the issue of public safety in the debates. There's two debates, and they can't escape me on that because they have no credibility in that field. I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. You represent the Republican Party, but for those independents who are becoming increasingly disillusioned with Trump's hypocrisy, his moral and ethical decay, can you show the fortitude to come out and tell us one thing that you're willing to stand up to the Trump administration with right now, so that we know that you'll stand up for right and wrong when the time comes?
Well, I think I've made it very clear that on the issue of the utilization of ICE, and I do not agree with how Andrew Cuomo, then governor, called them. He called them thugs when he was governor. I don't agree with that. I know many of the men and women who do serve in ICE. I will tell you this, things have gone awry ever since a quota was imposed. When they were first revitalized, when they started hitting the neighborhoods that I patrol, that I'm familiar with, they were going after the narco-terrorists, the sex traffickers, the drug dealers, the gang members. And everybody applauded them.
What do you think about him putting his thumb on the scale as President of the United States, directing the Justice Department to go after his enemies?
Well, can make the same argument against Biden and his Department of Justice. It's like tit for tat. Both, all right, they're consumed by that. I'm consumed about local issues that I can have an impact on, but I'll finish about ICE. When ICE goes after people who need to be detained, but try to fulfill a quota that many of the ICE members have said is not fair. It was like stop and frisk. That was horrible, that you would put a quota on the number of mostly black and Hispanic young men you would stop each day, 5. You had a quota of 5. It puts pressure on the men and women of ICE to go to anybody that they think might have illegal status. When you stand at a courthouse and people are coming in who are paroled through the portal, as was described that they should do by Biden, Mayorkas, and Harris. That was the law. And they've actually gone for their court hearings, as they were told to do. They should not be apprehended. They should not be detained. And by the way, I believe in due process for everybody. Whether you're a citizen, whether you have a green card, whether you're a migrant, you get charged, you either plea out, rarely is there a court case, you do time here, and then you're subject to deportation by ICE, who then arrives at your jail or prison, takes you to Vesey Street or Elizabeth, where they prepare you for deportation to your country of origin. That's always been the law. I know that because of the overwhelming number of migrants who came in, the Trump administration wants a bit of an easy pass. I would support him when they're right, when they're removing the right people, and obviously represent all the people as mayor, and have conversations with Tom Homan, with the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, and obviously whoever the president would have assigned to that, and try to dissuade them from that. Quotas never work. We saw that with stop and frisk. We see that now with detention. All right, thank you very much for coming.
Good luck, Curtis. Got that.
It's
There you go.
pretty interesting.
Yeah, I thought he was substantive, defiant. I'm a fan of your reporting on Fox, by the way. Big fan of your reporting. I think I've seen you on TV a few times. Oh, Univision. Okay, I know I've seen you somewhere. So I like you on Univision then. But yeah, I think he's very substantive. I think he's a real authentic New Yorker, not corrupt at all. And it's obvious that it makes sense that he's staying in. He has the infrastructure behind him. Cuomo has blown so much of his money. He's struggling. He's grasping at straws, trying to get all these extra donations. And he doesn't have it anymore. Curtis still has plenty of money to burn, plenty of money to spend. So when you analyze what candidate should drop out, it should be Cuomo. Because Cuomo doesn't have the resources that Sliwa has. That's a big part that the media is ignoring. They think Cuomo is this guy with the big bad wolf of all this money. Meanwhile, Curtis has the operation. He has volunteers going out. He hasn't blown through most of his money. He's not desperately trying to get more because he blew it all. And so you want to see who's a more serious candidate with an actual infrastructure and who knows how to delegate his volunteers and his staff to get votes. I'd say it's Curtis by a mile. He has the infrastructure, he has the money, he has the actual on-the-ground support. I mean, that's the thing. Like going to Zoran's events, you see a lot of love for Zoran. We saw a lot of love for Curtis today. I went to a Cuomo event. There was not a single comment saying, I like Cuomo. The enthusiasm is there, Zoran, and it's there with Curtis. There was not one person, and everybody watching the Cuomo video, of one person saying, yes, go Cuomo. And yet he's supposed to be this alternative. So it's interesting, and you know, various people in the media have their standard and their mission, which isn't as objective as you think it would be. But I think if you analyze again, what infrastructure do you have in place? Who's a stronger candidate? Curtis is it. And you know, I like Zoran a lot in the primary. I thought he really did care about New Yorkers. He's radically different than Curtis. I was undecided between the two of them. But you know, I mean, I think Curtis is more level-headed with crime issues and a lot of other stuff. And he got my vote because I think they're the two authentic New Yorkers in the race, but Curtis is the most. Now, I know a lot of people in my chat will disagree with this. I'm sure they hate Zoran or they hate Curtis, but It'll be an interesting race. He's regularly, there have been a few polls where he's only been 3 points, 4 points behind Cuomo. And so if that's the case, if that remains, then, you know, it might be more realistic that Curtis is the alternative. So, yeah. That's the rub. What do you think? What do you think of the answer to your question? Good job asking it.
Well, honestly, there is no way that Mamdani would ever answer that question. There's no way that a corporate huckster like Mamdani would ever even entertain that question, would ever even allow that to screen through all the media handlers he has.
Yeah.
To answer that question, dude, none of these guys would have ever asked that question first and foremost. I doubt even most of them even know. There's a civil RICO that a NYPD police chief filed, naming everybody, name, time, and event. Who did what exactly? Nobody would ever ask that question. Nobody. There's literally a RICO by an ex-chief.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta just get a little interaction with
Go
him
for it.
myself.
I'm actually curious if you'll answer, Amy. Let's see if Dodge asks it. I doubt he would, but we'll see. We'll see if he asks it. We'll see if he asks it. You know, to be honest with you, I doubt he even knows. To be honest, I sincerely knows about all the branch location over at Times Square, nearby Times Square. But we'll see. We'll get him on when he's a little more away from the rest of the people. I think he'd actually answer. I think genuinely this guy would actually answer. Something about him just tells me that I think he'd actually answer that question. So we'll see. New Jersey, we'll have to see, Amy. We got a couple other stuff going on. So unfortunately, we missed the, well, we didn't miss it. There was no Harvey Weinstein resentencing today. We went to the courthouse and they didn't have the hearing today. We even asked the Department of Corrections people and some NYPD officers that were just outside the courthouse. We saw the calendar. And sadly, he was not on it, despite the docket literally showing. So, Amy, the docket actually shows that it was supposed to be for today. Specifically, the Weinstein docket on the public courthouse docket shows it's supposed to be today at 9 o'clock. We went there over at 100 Center Street at the criminal court building. It was on the 13th floor, Department 81. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So it's that's what happened with the Weinstein situation. They're also saying that if he didn't get sentenced either today or tomorrow, there would be a continuance based on the new charges that they were proposing to bring forward, specifically because it had material facts that were believed to be significant enough related to the previous convictions he had of SA. So, you know, it's hard. Dockets and calendars can update like that. The only way to find out really is go back again tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I'll get some audio just so you guys are listening to him, not just me. Let's see if I got the video set up right. All right.
So I'm a big fan of Abraham Lincoln, even though he was flawed.
Yeah.
But he had the team of rivals because each, candidate, each opponent had wonderful ideas, and you do. So I feel like instead of, maybe bowing out or whatever it might be, bring it up, and that way we can make
It's,
sure
you
that
don't understand.
that
There's no bowing out. We're all on the ballot.
right. No, no, no. But I'm
Right.
saying, like, so if you were to win,
Then
step
you
up,
argue the issues.
step up, advocate for all that you spoke about
Exactly,
just now.
which I do all the time.
Exactly, and
Let the people decide.
make sure that the federal authorities can't come in because we got it covered.
Well, I've
And you
said
could do
we don't
that,
need.
absolutely.
We already have the National Guard here, courtesy of Kathy Hochul, 1,000 National Guardsmen. So she felt the need to put 1,000 National Guardsmen in the subway because we have a crime
the
crisis.
Bronx is so neglected.
Yeah.
So neglected. And
But trust me, I know it from all different facets better than the other two candidates combined.
But thank you. I just wanted to ask you that. Thanks a lot.
Last question: how
Yep.
financially stable is your campaign compared to Cuomo's?
Oh, we've raised far more money than Cuomo and Eric Adams together. And in fact, when you see our filing at the beginning of this month, we will have raised more locally than even Zoran Mandami,
Wow.
who now is dependent more on out-of-state contributions. So we're the people's choice. We have the matching funds that Eric Adams was denied because of his corruption, and that Andrew Cuomo can't seem to get because his only money comes in PACs, which have been provided by billionaires who know nothing about this election. They need to focus on Wall Street, so they know nothing about the streets. Okay, that's it.
Just final one. What do you think of the trafficking that Scientology does here in New York City? The
what?
the human trafficking that Scientology does.
Want to try to ask him?
I asked him. I was like, "What about the human trafficking about Scientology?" He's like, "Ah,
Yeah.
I figured you gotta ask." So there you go.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please subscribe.
All right, we'll cut it off here. Yeah, he won't answer it. Yeah, he won't answer. It was good though. We gotta ask. Wait, hold on. There, Dodge. Do you wanna get an interview with this guy who has a little sign or not?
What's up?
He's got a little sign of preferred
Oh
democracy.
yeah, sure. I'll ask him.
Yeah.
How you doing? How about you? I like it. I'm doing well. What brought you out here? I like the I prefer democracy.
Thank you. I consider it sort of a cheap shot on my part because instead of saying something all provocative and angry and something that most people actually do prefer democracy.
Yes.
And even Trump supporters say that they're pro-democracy. And so it's been a delight. I just happen to live right here. My wife said, "Hey, there's some fun going on." So I ran down, and these things are so important. And thank goodness that we have people that come out and speak, like Curtis. And I have a lot of problems with Curtis, but I love that part of America. I mean, it's going to be interesting, right? Is Curtis going to be on Trump's watch list? Does Curtis?
Trump is not a fan of Curtis.
I believe that.
Right.
I believe that. And if you folks are involved in the news at all or anything, reporting or anything like that, I mean, you guys are obviously on the damn list. I'm on the list. I'm on the list for this probably, but I'm on the list. But I'm on the list for 50 different things. And so it's good to be here. The city is amazing. That's right. This is the stuff right here. Thank you. This is the stuff. I mean, day after day after day. Well, they support this, and they just see somebody else that's just saying something simple, because most people, the next thing I say is, it's like, this is simple, right? I mean, fascism, like, who really wants fascism? And anybody, like Curtis is trying to help us understand about socialism and communism. I appreciate that. I think he should try and help us understand about fascism, and he did to a degree. But I think a big problem we have right now is a lot of Americans have no idea what fascism is, what it looks like, how it grows, how its tentacles reach out, just like they are right now. And a lot of Americans, it's not my sense that a lot of Americans realize this is deep shit. This is 30s Germany kind of shit that we're doing right here in America. And I look forward to us regaining our balance and getting back to the rule of law and due process, and of course, to do any of that, we've got to get, and again, something do I completely agree with Curtis, and that's on money in politics and running the damn country and the city. And so I'm with him 100% on that. And until we do that and get it straight that it's not all these other made up boogie people that, that's going on. if there's any central thing, it's money and greed and the people that have that stuff. So I would really appreciate if you get off this crap about Mamdani being an anti-Semite. That is just unadulterated bullshit. And that's cheap shooting. And he talks that he's the straight talking guy, and some of the time it seems like he is. But that's unadulterated bullshit.
Do you think that could be like a cultural thing, just generically speaking? I am saying that because I know quite a number of Sicilian Italians particularly, and I just generally find that that's oftentimes it's just a cultural thing. I've noticed.
Which part? Cultural? Or
Old school Italian, I'm saying the old traditional, reflexive support, traditional support of Israel, where it would be, if you're a little more antiquated perhaps, and a little more old.
Where merely just criticizing the nation state equals, in his eyes, anti-Semite. That's the cultural equivocation.
I so agree with that. And again, what a fascinating thing, and what a sad thing about America, that we can't get a recognized war criminal helping to run the government of a country that's screwed up and doing some of the most outrageous killings that we've ever seen. We can't separate that. It seems like we can't do that very well here either. Because most people I know, and people I talk to from other countries, as I have in the last months, partly because of this, Germans come up to me, like, hey, thank you so much. We have an idea of what this is about. But person for person, every single one, doesn't matter, Canadian, Japanese, German, doesn't matter where they're from, the part of the message is always, hey, we are with you, American people. We don't see you as bad people. We realize things are very screwed up with your government, and we don't appreciate that at all. So other people are, I think, pretty reasonable, and I think we could use to be reasonable in that way too.
I don't know if you want it on yours. I was going to ask it anyway, but so do you know about the cult of Scientology location out by Times Square, near that area?
I'm just ever so vaguely aware that exists.
Yeah, but you know how wacky Scientology is?
Yeah, and interestingly enough, and I like to be as transparent as I can, am I, like deeply informed about Scientology? No. Do I have enough like data points over the last 20 years that are like insane? Yeah, I'm aware of that.
Yeah, so he was a news anchor, and he was covering the Danny Masterson trial. Because of that, Scientology actually reached out to his news agency and got him fired because he dared cover.
I was talking about how Scientology, Lisa Marie Presley was going to testify in the Danny Masterson retrial. And it was a factual piece. And I said she could have gotten some repercussions from Scientology, and then Scientology threatened to sue my news station unless they fired me. And so my news station buckled quick and canned me. I'm not too upset about it because I got a nice audience from my opposition to Scientology, which is nice. And so there's a lot of interesting twists and turns.
Yeah, and again, for me, I'd have come down here just to hear you say that, just to hear you.
Thank you.
I mean, seriously, it seems like sometimes it's easy to get caught up. It's only like these gigantic things that like have importance. Well, that isn't the way it works for me. It's person for person. And, when a person states facts or what they believe to be the facts with no malice of intent, just like, hey, here's the story, here's what I saw, and then they get fired, that means something to me. It's like, and it's part of what means something to me about this sign is that I get to meet people who value, they've thought about it. It's not just like, I'm floating.
Democracy in a way, absolutely,
right? They've thought about it, and they've thought about what it means. So, wow, I appreciate that so very. Wow.
Very kind.
No, it's not. It's not kind. Well, it might be a little bit that, but it's not kind. It's hugely self-centered. But luckily, myself I really give a shit about everybody. I think everybody deserves something like democracy, freedom, safety. Little things like that, and so it's like, what? I would shut my mouth when I hear another person tell another important story that, it's a small story compared to Jimmy Kimmel, but it's so damn important.
And he was convicted. He was actually convicted of those things. So it wasn't just nonsense. He was actually convicted.
Right. Well, and then in America, right? Then we go to the, oh yeah, you know, who was the judge, who was the jury, you know, and so and I'm into looking at that because, you know, if it's the lynching of a black man in Alabama, and the jury just happens to be all white men, I think it's important to look at that. But the way that that's being looked at now, which is just a way to write off, to discount, to say that a conviction was bullshit.
Yeah, he had a very diverse jury pool. Very, very diverse. Yeah.
I bet. Wow. Gentlemen, thank you.
Hey,
Yeah.
good
No,
to be
good to
on
meet
Dodge,
you.
by the way.
Yeah.
What a
Pleasure.
deal. What a
Dodge.
deal.
Dodge.
I like the car.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a strange
Yeah.
name.
I like
Henry.
it.
Like Henry without the H.
Henry.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Which would be like fish without the H.
Sort of. I'm actually from Albania.
Oh, I like
Yeah.
that. I love that. I mean, it's amazing to me that anybody would think that our diversity isn't.
Oh yeah, I'll finish it with this. So we were actually at the immigration court earlier today watching the ICE agents on whether they were gonna apprehend people in the hallway. So we were trying to record in the hallway and they approached us threatening to arrest us for wanting to film in the hallway. But there was two other people who had basically, you can get on Amazon and buy a press pass and saying you need a press pass to film, and literally to our face saying we'll arrest you if you don't move away from the hallway. And that was mind-blowing to me. So we stood there for about maybe 15 minutes. After that, we need to come out here to make it in time for this. But that is happening right now at the immigration courts.
Wow.
And they're just sweeping people up.
Hey, gentlemen, can I take a picture with the two of you? I mean, you guys can't be photo shy, right?
No. Here, let me cut this off so I can save it.
And then I'd
All
love
right,
to
cool.